to another episode of Nasdaq Spotlight Live here at the Microsoft Ignite Conference in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Anna Gonzalez, and joining me now is Rod Lappin. He's the SVP of Sales and Marketing for Lenovo. Rod, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Anna. Pleased to be here.
Tell us about your company.
Yeah, so Lenovo is a $43 billion company. We operate in over 160 countries around the world. Our product set ranges from basically smartphones all the way through to data center infrastructure, so we're quite diverse in our product set. We manufacture a device, about 4 devices a second actually, globally, and so we've largely been a hardware organization, but we're transitioning obviously a lot to more software and solutions around our customers' desires.
And your group in particular, what do you oversee?
Yeah, so the data center group, which is basically all of the infrastructure. So we're the iron and tin at the back end of companies that basically runs them. So all of the servers, storage, networking, software-defined infrastructure. Just announced last week a great OEM relationship with NetApp around storage, where we used to address about 15% of the market. Now we address 92% of the market thanks to that arrangement. So, you know, we're the back end of most organizations, keeping the engines running.
That's fantastic. So what are you doing here at the conference this week?
Yeah, so MS Ignite, like one of the largest conferences in the world, right, basically in the IT industry. And we've got a very, very strong relationship with Microsoft. They're one of our most strategic partners, both from the client side all the way through to the infrastructure and data center space. So I'm here meeting customers, meeting partners, as well as obviously Microsoft executives, and furthering the relationship as we go more strategically into the realms of artificial intelligence, IoT, and all those machine learning things that we've heard from Satya this morning in the keynote.
Now, before we go into the exciting things you're seeing out there in the future, tell me a little bit about how you've seen the space evolve in the last, let's say, even 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, so that's a big question in tech these days. I mean, you heard in the keynote this morning, the Microsoft executive saying the only constant in IT is change. I think that's definitely been the case. I've been in it for a long while, as you can tell, and I love it. I love the fact that technology changes so quickly. But I would say in the last 1 to 2 years especially, we've got an enormous amount of change going on. And you can see that as artificial intelligence starts to proliferate more, machine learning, as I just mentioned, IoT is really starting to come of age now. We're starting to see a lot more devices proliferated in the industry that's capturing data. There's just going to be so much more data out there that obviously everyone can use and become more intelligent on how they interact with their customers. I think it's an enormous evolution that's happened in the last 2 years, and it's going to keep continuing on over the next 2 to 3 years. I think it's going to be very, very exciting.
So when you look down, let's say 2 to 3 years, even 5 years, let's not even try and go 10, right?
Yeah, it's very hard at the moment.
Because I mean, even what we're doing now wouldn't have been possible, 3 to 4 years ago. So when you look in the future, what most excites you?
Well, I think there's no doubt data capturing, or the amount of data we are capturing as organizations now, is pretty impressive. And you saw Satya, Shantanu, and Bill McDermott get up on stage this morning at Satya's keynote, really announcing the hashtag open data initiative, because they're really saying to customers, your data is your data. We don't necessarily want your data. I think that's a really important message to say out to the market, because artificial intelligence does have a lot of people scared on what could potentially be used out of the data. However, with IoT capturing and artificial intelligence the way that it's evolving right now, that's easily the most exciting stuff that's going on. That artificial intelligence, how it can be used to help solve humanity's greatest challenges, as we say in Lenovo in our high-performance computing practice, which is we're number 1 in the world for that practice right now globally. And that leverages our artificial intelligence team as well. That initiative and how we're being able to use the artificial intelligence IQ and the IP that's out there in the market and really re-evolve how organizations go and address humanity's greatest challenges is really important. It's going to be super exciting.
But it's no small task also.
No.
Let's just go straight after the biggest challenges.
Yeah, sure.
So let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Lightning round, have a little fun.
Yeah, sure.
So what is your can't live without app that you use?
Yeah, it's pretty simple for me actually. I'm in a global role obviously, and I travel long haul almost every week. So WhatsApp is easily my number 1 app. It is my communication. I have chats with my leadership team, all of my staff, and we're perpetually communicating through WhatsApp, photos, communications. And that is basically the app I live my life on. I really don't use any store and forward technology anymore, email. I'm pretty hopeless at that. I'm just communicating to everyone on WhatsApp all the time. So that's easily the app that I use the most. I'm probably not the most exciting answer, but it's the truth.
Well, and it makes so much sense from a workflow efficiency standpoint. I mean, there are all different kinds of products out there, but when you're talking about a global organization and what people are usually using anyway,
yes.
It's WhatsApp.
I think you're right. I think not only that, but because you get Wi-Fi in planes these days, which is great, just perpetually being able to jump onto a plane, connect up, and then suddenly you're connecting with all your staff all the time. I think it's too convenient to not do it.
And what would you say is the most exciting piece of technology you use in your office?
Yeah, I think the one that I'm going to go with is actually a virtual reality headset we have in our executive briefing center. We have an executive briefing center. We have three main ones. One in Raleigh, North Carolina, one in Stuttgart in Germany, and one in Beijing in China. The one in Raleigh, North Carolina right now, we have a VR headset that gives you a virtual tour of one of our flagship high-performance computing installs globally, which is at the Barcelona Supercompute in Barcelona. So you can put the headset on and suddenly you can escape your environment in Raleigh, North Carolina, and be right in the middle of a cathedral in Barcelona, which has the data center. It was just rated the #1 most beautiful data center in the world. So it's a great little escapism if you're in Raleigh.
Yeah, that's also kind of wild that a data center would be considered beautiful. And can people see photos of that or video of
Absolutely.
it
You can go
online?
straight onto the web, and just look up Barcelona Supercompute. It's just featured in Dan Brown's latest novel, Origins. So go on, have a look at it. Just jump on and search Barcelona Supercomputer.
So when you're not traveling the world for work and generally working, what do you like to do?
Oh, that's a good question. Every second I get a chance, I'm surfing. I'm Australian, obviously, by the accent. You can pick it up. So I started surfing when I was 11, and I went through this stage where I just stopped, and now I've got a real renaissance. It's come back for me, and I have a daughter that I go surfing with every weekend when I get home. That's
fantastic.
That's fun. It's good fun.
And as we wrap up, for people who are watching and thinking, one day I want to be sitting in your position, what advice do you have for people who are coming up?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think stay positive. I'm obviously very energetic, and I'm all about positive. I think leadership is all about positive attitude, firstly. That's your first and foremost, because you've got to motivate your team and make sure that they follow you into battle. I think being positive is #1 step. But I think also don't let things get you down. Like, things change. As we said, the IT industry changes dramatically. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. But I like to keep in my mind, cream always rises to the top. That's a saying that I like to always keep in my mind. So, when you stir up milk and cream, ultimately cream always rises to the top. So if you're good, you apply yourself specifically to work, and you make sure that you're always researching and using data for your decision making, you'll always end up getting to the top.
Those are good words to wrap up on. Thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more conversations. We're just really getting started. The expo floor hasn't even totally opened yet, so way more to come here at Microsoft Ignite. See you guys soon.